John Hillerman, a Texas-born actor who played the likably snobbish British caretaker on the television show Magnum, P.I., and held supporting roles in iconic 1970s movies like Chinatown and Blazing Saddles, died Thursday at his home in Houston. He was 84. His publicist, Lori Waal, said he had died of natural causes. After 30 years of acting, on Broadway and in Hollywood, Mr. Hillerman landed a career-defining role in 1980 as Jonathan Quayle Higgins III, the stuffy perfectionist and foil to the free-spirited detective Thomas Magnum in Magnum, P.I. Higgins was grouchy with a sarcastic wit, not unlike Mr. Hillerman's portrayal of a detective in the mid-1970s show Ellery Queen. Magnum, P.I. became a runaway success for 8 years for CBS and made Tom Selleck, who played Magnum, a mainstay in tabloids, solidifying his Hollywood career. But Mr. Hillerman relished the supporting role and found it equally rewarding. "It isn't so long ago that I was a struggling actor living in New York, and the only thing I could overlook was my rent," Mr. Hillerman said in a 1985 interview, sipping a glass of wine on his penthouse balcony in Honolulu. The portrayal of Higgins won him an Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama, a Golden Globe Award, and many fans in England, who adored the haughty majordomo of a beachfront property where Magnum lived. Mr. Hillerman said he felt terrible when he responded to their fan mail and had to let them down. Continue reading the main story. Advertisement. Continue reading the main story. "I hate to disappoint you, but I'm a hick from Texas," he said. He replied. John Benedict Hillerman was born in Denison, Texas, about 60 miles north of Dallas, on December 20, 1922, to Christopher Benedict Hillerman and Lenora Joan Hillerman. He was the middle child with 2 sisters, and he displayed independence at a young age. He is survived by 1 sister, Joanne Tridico, as well as nieces and nephews. By 12, Mr. Hillerman was driving by himself, and within a few years, traveling to Dallas and staying alone in hotels to see the opera. But he did not immediately see himself on stage. It was not until he was based in Fort Worth for the Air Force that he decided to audition for a community theater production of Death of a Salesman. "When I stepped on stage, I experienced the greatest high I've ever had in my life," he recounted in a 1987 interview. "And I said to myself, Hillerman, until this moment, you have been bored." Before he left the Air Force, he had worked in nearly 24 plays. He had found his passion and moved to the East Coast. During 11 years in New York and then 4 in Washington, Mr. Hillerman appeared in more than 100 roles on stage. But after all those years, he had only $700 in the bank and decided to move to Los Angeles to find better paying work.